And that emotion then takes away the lack.
Mm.
And now you say, I created that. And then you go to the next one. Now you can get really good at doing this. You could study, you could get schooled, you can get coached, you can learn from your mistakes, you could get disciplined, and you can accumulate more things. You can get better at doing that. But there is another way to create where you don't have to do so much. And those are laws that transcend just typical Newtonian laws. And what if you were to feel the emotion of the future before it happened every single day? Remember that feeling, and that feeling was for your heart to fall in love with your life, to fall in love with your vision. You'd have to awaken that heart.
Mm.
If you could do that and marry that with the vision of your future, I promise you it'll be easier to make choices to step into that future. I guarantee you, you'll believe in it and do things to advance yourself into that future, and you step right into it. So then, if it doesn't happen when we want it to happen, you know what I mean? Like people stop me and they say, well, I've been creating my reality for 3 days and nothing happened. And I say to them, you're not that good. Look, I don't know what else to tell you. You're not that good. Or they'll say, how come I'm not living in Mallorca with my 2 dogs and a lover? I'm like, because the person who's living in Mallorca looks nothing like you. Like, that's not what the person looks like. So when it doesn't happen, the lack becomes greater.
Uh-huh. And then what do we
And
do?
because lack is separation, and separation is based on time. And so when you imagine that vision of your future, you're putting your attention in a future reality. You have one point of consciousness, that's your future, and you are making the choice from this point of consciousness that that's where you want to go. And the distance between those two is called time. So time is based on lack or separation. Are you with me?
Yes.
And when it doesn't happen, we start to feel more lack and more separation, so we start to force outcomes.
So we try harder.
Try harder, we manipulate, we compete, we fight. Because trying is what you do when you're in lack. And so the person's living in separation their whole entire life, waiting for the event to occur to take away the feeling of not having it. And it could be their whole entire life.
Wow.
And that becomes a program. So then you ask them, why are you this way? Well, because life isn't working for me. That's the belief that they have.
It's unfair.
And they'll have a whole story that goes along with it. So then, if you could fall in love with your future, and the heart produces a very strong magnetic signature, and you get your brain coherent and working really well, that intention that you have has a signal in the field. And we've measured this. And so then if you could begin to experiment by changing your energy, could it change my life? That's the experiment. I'm just curious. If you started doing it, that you could actually shorten the distance between the thought of what you want and the experience of having it. And all of a sudden, you're no longer going anywhere to do it. It's kind of coming to you. Now, if you experiment like that and then you are successful at it and you start seeing the synchronicities, I guarantee you're going to keep it up.